Life after life. After Isabel's birthday, Rhea once brought her friend to meet with her friends. She was a very beautiful girl.
Layla. Layla loves to travel through parallel universes and wanted to offer us such a journey.
It's very interesting. Are they similar to ours or not?
Parallel worlds realize the possibilities that are not realized in our world, as all possibilities that exist must be realized. There are worlds that are almost identical to ours, only differing in terms of the timing. In these worlds, repeating souls, those who haven't completed their lessons here, find themselves. They have almost the same relatives, friends, enemies, and circumstances. Almost, because completely identical worlds don't exist. However, their father, mother, comrades, adversaries, while similar, have different souls playing their roles, except for a few repeating souls who are also repeating their lessons. There are worlds that have advanced in time. There, for example, the 5th millennium is already underway. Somewhere, there's been an Armageddon, and life begins anew. Some worlds have avoided it and continue to develop further. I have a great fondness for one world where matriarchy has been preserved, and the teachings of Tantra were not destroyed as they were in our world. This world is currently in a golden age, free from wars, revolutions, and riots. There are no criminals or scoundrels. People live happily, and everyone is spiritually evolving.
Fantastic! I want to see this world.
Let's fly. The entrance to the dimensions of these worlds is located in the center of the galaxy. But I also want to show you the beauty of space, so let's fly through outer space.
The friends found themselves in space, where the entire solar system was visible. The planets and the sun hummed like different-sized Tibetan singing bowls. Slowly changing their tones, they produced an incredible music of spheres. The planets were living beings, but they existed at a slower pace than humans. While a whole lifetime passed for people, only a minute passed for them. However, their perception was faster than that of humans. To read and understand a complex scientific work, it would take a person several months. For them, it happened instantly. The consciousness of the sun was truly divine, flying further at many times the speed of light, passing through constellations and nebula. The friends approached a massive sphere of light, millions of times the size of the sun. This was the center of the galaxy. It was a magnificent living being for which 1,000 years were just a moment. Yet it was the god of all the stars and planets, overseeing everything happening in the galaxy. With a sense of sacred reverence, they entered its interior and saw there a voluminous, multifaceted star, each wing of which served as an entrance to one of the parallel worlds. In this labyrinth, one could easily become lost forever if they didn't know exactly where they wanted to go. Entering one of the beams, they found themselves next to the earth, and from a bird's eye view, they observed small houses and temples immersed in vegetation. As they approached closer, they saw a temple near which several women and one man were practicing yoga exercises. They were dressed in clothing reminiscent of Indian attire. Layla introduced them to an elderly woman who was sitting in a lotus position, deep in meditation.
This is Zarma Devai.
The woman possessed clairvoyance and noticed them, beginning to communicate with them telepathically. I thought you already had flying cars here, and yet you seem to be in the Stone Age.
Technological progress is not a measure of wisdom. It's simply an adaptation to the planet's overpopulation. Spiritual technologies are far more important. Unlike your kind, we control birth rates and keep them to a minimum. Moreover, we can control the gender of a child and give birth to far more girls. There's a saying, but if too many boys are born, war is on the horizon. That's why we live in harmony and happiness. We make do with little, eat fruits from the trees, materialize what we need, communicate through telepathy, travel by teleporting to the desired location, and control animals and primitives with our thoughts.
Why can't Earth's inhabitants do this?
This is only possible at a very high spiritual level. If ordinary people could do this, Earth would cease to be a soul gym for them, a place where they grow, realizing the causes of their suffering, where they seek solutions to their situations of ignorance, limitations in many things, poverty, diseases, slavery, imprisonment, and the abuse of authority. In this search for a way out of the challenging situations, human consciousness and understanding develop. They learn to avoid evil and follow the only true path of love, kindness, and compassion. We dedicate our time to practices that nurture wisdom, love, and happiness within us. Your people have convinced themselves that happiness should be sought through the acquisition of money, possessions, power, and fame, but they remain unhappy. True happiness lies in making others happy. The way the Lord has designed our souls, when we pull the blanket over ourselves, we sink into negative emotions and suffering. No matter how much money one may acquire, it is only love that makes a person happy, not insatiable ownership and selfishness. Despite all the advancements in your sciences, so far, no scientist truly understands these simple truths. We live in groups of several women of different ages, led by the most spiritually evolved among us, and we choose a man who is worthy of us in terms of spirituality. Children are raised only by the most enlightened individuals who can interact with us without aggression and manipulation, but with love and understanding. Who can grow from a child raised with lies and violence? Such individuals should not have children. It is also essential for children to have their connection with God from an early age, because they have just come from the subtle world, and its impressions are still alive within them. Humans possess incredible powers and abilities, but to unlock them, one must practice yoga and other methods of awakening cities. But your civilization of barbarians took a different path. You started perfecting the external world instead of developing yourselves. And now you stand on the brink of destruction because self-improvement not only grants supernatural powers, but also makes a person more spiritual and wiser. They stop committing the foolish actions that lead to their own and the world's destruction. And the salvation of your planet is only possible if the majority of its inhabitants turn to self-improvement, to spiritual practices, instead of perfecting instruments for killing and the destruction of nature while remaining ignorant savages.
Tell us about the creation of life. I believe my friends will find it interesting.
Of course, there was no beginning, because the world is eternal. Everything that God created, He created from Himself. First, He created the world of archangels, cherubim, and seraphim. Then God condensed His atoms and dharmas even further and formed the world of angels. In one of my incarnations, I was on earth among you. You have a beautiful story about Adam and Eve. They were meant to learn about good and evil, and they were incarnated on Earth. The serpent represents malevolent powers, evil spirits, and the apple symbolizes the fruits of this world. Currently, humans suffer because they come to know good and evil. However, when they fully understand everything, they will return to God. In suffering and being on Earth, there will no longer be any necessity.
The cartoon is based on the book Life After Life. Read Life After Life on the website amazon1.org/books. Receive more interesting practices, spiritual knowledge, and gifts on the websites of our partners. You will find details in the description.